All right, eighth grade, good morning or good afternoon. We are jumping into Unit 1, Lesson 10 today. So today you're going to continue to read the anchor text and delineate the author's argument and also delineate a speaker's argument. Before we get started in the bulk of the lesson today, you're going to do your entrance ticket, which is Unit 1, Lesson 10, and that's on page 49 and 50 in your student workbook. So I would like for you to go ahead and pause the video and work through this now. When you're finished, let's find a partner and talk through the questions and share your answers together, okay? And then we'll come back together. All right, guys, so now that you've had time to do that and work with a partner to talk through your answers, let's talk about the new term that we got today, which was local farming. What does local farming mean? Well, you should have said something like local farming refers to food and other agricultural products that are grown or produced, processed, and then sold within a certain area. The rest of the questions are personal questions to you guys, so your answers are going to vary, but I trust that you guys all went over this and talked about it, so we're going to go ahead and look at the learning targets for today. So here are the two learning targets. I can delineate and evaluate the argument in the Omnivore's dilemma, which is our anchor text, assessing whether the reasoning is sound and the advice is relevant and sufficient. And the second one is I can delineate a speaker's argument and specific claims, evaluating the soundness of the reasoning and relevance and sufficiency of the evidence, and identifying when irrelevant evidence is introduced. So those are kind of packed. All right, guys, so you are going today to be reading section 7, okay? And this is where this first learning target is going to come into play. So you're going to be reading pages 213 through 217, 219 through 223, and pages 229 through 233. And once you finish, I want you guys to go ahead and record the gist for the whole section that you read today. So go ahead and let's work to start our reading and capture our gist now. All right, guys, so now that you have had time to work through that, let's talk a little bit about some vocabulary that I hope that you captured, and then I'm going to give you a couple questions to talk about as a class. So let's do the vocab first. So on page 213, I'd like you to find the word spurred and come up with a definition of that based off context clues. And you guys can pause me in between words and you can work through these individually if you would like. The next word is on page 216, agribusiness. It's one word. And the last word is on page 216 and it's bombarded. So go ahead and capture those three words now in your vocabulary logs. Okay, guys, so I'm going to ask two questions, and I'd like for you guys to have some discussion with an elbow partner and then as a class. So on page 215, what is the author trying to point out by sharing Joel's observations? So I'd like for you to go ahead and pause the video and work through that now. All right, guys, so you might have said something like, he's sharing the discrepancy many Americans exhibit when it comes to quality and cost. He gives examples of how people will pay for cable or new TVs while resisting the cost of higher quality food. Just like higher quality cars and clothing cost more money, consumers should expect that higher quality food costs more as well. And then the other one, next question on page 221. What does it mean to vote with your fork? That's a quote directly from the text. So find that quote. What does it mean to vote with your fork? Okay, so go ahead and turn and talk, have some discussion about that, and then you guys can talk about that as a class. Okay, so hopefully you guys said something like people can make big changes in the food system through the choices they make when purchasing and consuming food. Okay. All right, guys, so I trust that we are finished with our reading. We are going to, if you've not already, please share your gist with your elbow partner of section 7. And then if we could have your teacher pause and maybe take a few examples from the class, that would be great. So go ahead and pause the video and do that now. All right, guys, we're going to move forward a little bit. I want you to turn to an elbow partner and talk about what is one pro related to local food farming and what is one con related to local food farming. And then once you guys are done, you can have some discussion as a class. All right, guys. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to work to delineate an argument. So we're going to pick it apart. We're going to see what it's all about. You should have a graphic organizer for section 7, and that's on page 52 through 55 in your workbooks. So your task is to identify the author's purpose and main claim from the text, name supporting points that align to this claim, determine evidence that is relevant, and identify any irrelevant evidence. Discuss the sufficiency of the evidence and the soundness of the reasoning. Okay, so you guys are going to work using the section 7 graphic organizer. Okay, you're going to complete this graphic organizer independently. So I want you guys to work through that now. And then as a class, I'd like for you to go question by question and talk about the graphic organizer, talk about the work. So I'll ask that you pause the video now to work through that and then come back to me and we'll close it out. Okay, guys, so for our closing today, okay, we're going to be focusing on this learning target in the closing. I would love for you to watch this video in season, okay? And then in your workbook, there's another graphic organizer called Delineate an Argument in a video graphic organizer. It's on page 56 through 58. So watch this video and then answer the questions, practicing the same work that you did today in class. I'm going to go ahead and close out here. Your teacher can go over this graphic organizer with you or take it up as an exit ticket. That is completely up to your teacher. And I'll see you guys again very soon.